So a little less than 2 weeks ago, Scott Lauridsen graduated from Joplin High School in Missouri with about 450 other students. Good times. And in all the excitement, not many people paid attention to the light rain that was just beginning to fall. Within a few minutes, however, one of the deadliest single tornadoes in U.S. history ripped through Joplin, a multi-vortex monster that killed almost 140 people and injured hundreds more. I was excited, he says. I was ready to start things new and move on to college and experience life. And then all this happened. Now I'm just worried about helping out with the community and getting things back together. From the sounds of it, Scott may be embarking on a journey as a social entrepreneur. As a sociologist, I'm fascinated by social entrepreneurs. These folks are increasingly responsible for a lot of good things that are being done in the world today, and their efforts may be coming just in time, considering the many disturbing, complex, and large-scale problems that we have in the world today. I probably don't have to elaborate on those problems. You probably know them all too well. But in terms of social entrepreneurs, as a solution, I'll just give one example. Back in the 1970s, there were maybe a handful of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, that were interested in international development and peace. Now, today, we have thousands and thousands of them, and chances are pretty good that they were started by social entrepreneurs. Okay. Who are social entrepreneurs? To answer that question, we need to talk about what is an entrepreneur. Here I need to say yes, but. Yes, but to the idea, which is a common everyday idea, that these folks, these particular types of entrepreneurs, start up, organize, manage, and incur the risks of a purely profit-maximizing or money-making business or enterprise. Yes, our capitalist system has for a long time called on these entrepreneurs to build the economy, to create jobs, and take risks, all in the name of the dollar. But I have to say there are other types of entrepreneurs. Okay? In fact, the French origin of the word entrepreneur simply means those who undertake, with I think the implication that what's being undertaken is some sort of innovative, thoughtful, and practical startup that stands against the status quo. Entrepreneurs are exciting and inspiring for sure, but they're also grounded and rational. In this larger sense, and we can root that all the way back to the European Enlightenment, I use the word entrepreneur. With that in mind, social entrepreneurs are those who bring about social and environmental good in entrepreneurial ways, which might include profit maximization, but might not. For example, Muhammad Yunus, the founder of the Grameen Bank, a microfinance institution and Nobel laureate, talks a lot about the importance of social business, where profits are not maximized, but are only taken to sustain the enterprise. Benefit corporations, another new idea, stick social and environmental good right into the corporate charters, right beside making profit. And then there are traditional nonprofits and cooperatives, along with purely voluntary and even open source Wikipedia types of organizations, and all sorts of hybrid combinations. So if entrepreneurs, and especially social entrepreneurs, are not necessarily profit maximization driven, what else might be motivating them? And how do you know if you've got the right stuff to be a real-life social entrepreneur? More than anything else, social entrepreneurs are motivated by compassion, which only means that they're ordinary human beings like you and I. Not supermen or superwomen, not saints. The days of depending on saintly compassion are long gone. Just think again about Scott Lauridsen. Most of us have the potential capacity to be there for someone else, to walk shoulder to shoulder with someone in need. This comes from our being able to empathize with another, to put ourselves in their shoes and feel that what is for them is not what ought to be. Compassion, though, reaches far beyond empathy in that it entails practical commitment and responsibility. Practical commitment and responsibility. The Good Samaritan didn't just empathetically feel for the left-for-dead Jew. He committed to helping in very real-world, human, and deeply caring ways. Social entrepreneurs do likewise. The commitment part of compassion comes from an internal calling. It comes from the moral compass question, which says, how could I not step forward here? In a world of way too many choices and way too many distractions, there is no choice for social entrepreneurs. The commitment part is further strengthened by an external calling, that which comes directly from those in need. With both these things in place, the commitment for social entrepreneurs is very much irresistible. The responsibility part of compassion recognizes the difference between band-aid solutions and truly meaningful assistance. True compassion, according to Martin Luther King Jr., is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that an edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. I think Judge Riley clearly points that out. True compassion is consequently not about handouts. It's about hand-ups. It's about empowerment. So there's a real challenge here for social entrepreneurs, how to act in thoughtful, positively deviant ways against the status quo and change the fundamental workings of society for the better. True social entrepreneurs, guided by their internal and external callings, are truly compassionate in their responsibility to others. Given these incredible, demanding motivations of compassion, there is one more characteristic that I like to emphasize, and it's what I'll call agile leadership. Yes, there are many types of leaders, and social entrepreneurs have to be all of them. But it seems to me that social entrepreneurs, above everything else, need to be wonderfully agile. This point was brought home very, very powerfully on the last day of a social entrepreneurship course that I facilitated a few years ago. In looking back on the semester and discussing the many issues of our times, the class atmosphere became increasingly gloomy and urgent. Soon the class polarized around two spokespeople, whom I'll call Matt and John. John's group was certainly willing to help, but was frustrated by a lack of practical answers. How exactly do we help? What exactly do we do? Finally, John, with a considerable amount of exasperation, almost yelled out, "Look, Matt, just tell me what to do, and I'll be happy to do it." Matt's response was to cock his head to the side a little bit and very deliberately say, "You know, John, that's something we all have to figure out for ourselves. There are no road signs for this kind of stuff." Matt's absolutely right. People who take up the challenges of social entrepreneurship have to be remarkably agile leaders. And that's in large part because we're all in very unfamiliar territory. But this doesn't mean we have to dig down, way down inside and come up with some sort of John Wayne-ish rugged individualism that's hidden away within us. Instead, developing the required agility is going to be found through tapping into and maximizing the rising collective consciousness and civil religion which you all represent and concerns itself with the world today. This gestalt, if you will, is growing all around us. And as I study social entrepreneurs, it seems to me that those who know how to network with and without social media can achieve synergies and build social capital for themselves and for others, that's truly inspiring and has almost a virtuoso quality about it. These folks really seem to be in touch with something much greater than themselves. We may live in an all too disenchanted world at the moment. We seem to have lost our way, overwhelmed by oil spills, toxic red sludge, nuclear meltdowns, global poverty, economic crises, the list goes on and on. As social entrepreneurs step up, however, to meet our challenges, they are effectively re-enchanting the world, reminding us that means to ends, efficiency, effectiveness, bureaucracy, the pursuit of profit maximization are soulless and need to be put back into the larger and more meaningful context of social and environmental good. As more and more social entrepreneurs come forward in this way, I have to believe that we're approaching a positive tipping point. It's vital to remember, though, that social change happens within very particular communities and then spreads at the intersections of those communities. Whether we get to that hoped-for tipping point at all and in time may well depend on each one of us and the social entrepreneurial work that we do in our own communities. Thank you.